is Ernest Kahn. I'm actually from the Philippines, born and raised in the Philippines. I was there for about 25 years. Now, growing up, yo-yos became my passion. It's a long time coming because I look back and I've been yo-yoing for a total of 19 years now. So 19 years of playing, of the ups and downs of yo-yoing. And it's great because not only is this just a toy, I see it as an object that could also relieve stress. When I would work in the Philippines, one of my first jobs was working at Starbucks. Everybody's familiar with Starbucks. And on my 15-minute breaks, I would go out and I would yo-yo, and it would just relieve all the tension in my mind, all the stress, all the problems, all the problematic customers I would have to deal with who wanted the drinks a little faster. And it really taught me patience. It taught me to be kind. It taught me that there's a lot of people who are caring within this community. So today I'd like to show you a little bit of what I do. And as at this point in my life, I do this on the side. I wish I could say yo-yoing was my full-time job. I'm a salesman. I'm a people's person. But I'm going to start off with a couple basic tricks. I'm going to pass the mic on, but I'm just going to be talking a little bit louder so you all can hear me. And I'm going to show you a couple of the basic tricks that I learned growing up and then into a more professional and competition type of setting. Okay? You guys want to see it today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So this is a regular type of yo-yo. It's basically you got a yo-yo at the end of the string and then the string tied to the finger. Okay? I'm sure how many people here have had a yo-yo?
Wow.
There we go. Now whether you got it out of a cereal box growing up or for 25 cents at the store,
How did 5 going?
everybody knows what a yo-yo is.
Yeah.
Now when I first yo-yoed, I tossed the yo-yo down and it couldn't come back up. So I felt like a failure. I felt like, well, if I can't do this, then what's the point? And then I wound it up and I tried again. And I failed again. And I just kept trying until I was able to toss it and have a perfectly wound string, and the yo-yos just spun. And it was like everything was at peace. And then I got back to my hand and I felt accomplished. I felt like I could do this. But it was only until that moment of me actually accomplishing the toss, getting it back to my hand, where I learned that I am capable of achieving more. So this trick, the long sleeper, is the foundation of all yo-yo tricks. We have man on the flying trapeze, where you toss the yo-yo sideways, catch it on the string, pop it in the air and catch it back in your hand. It's a circus trick, you know? I always tell my mom when I was younger, I want to join the circus. And she's like, do you really want to do that? Can I still do that? So, it's a balancing act, just like life. Life has its struggles. You just need to adjust it so that everything has balance. Whether it's your personal life, whether it's your work life, your love life, everything. Takes practice, takes balance. Now another trick that is, I would say, world famous is walking the dog. I'm sure everybody's familiar with that. You'll toss the yo down and just go for a stroll. Just kind of go for a walk. Get back to the hand. Let's do that again. Tossing it down, just taking my dog on a walk. Get back to the hand. Everybody loves that because everybody loves dogs, one. Everybody likes to go for walks, you know? Now, another famous yo-yo trick is actually, can anybody tell me this? Who can tell me this one? Rocking the baby. Back and forth. Got to rock it 3 times for it to count. Okay? 3 times. Let's do that again. Tossing it down. 1, 2, 3. Back to the hand. Now I thought I was good until professionals came to the Philippines and they showed me this trick. This one is called Crazy Baby. I thought to myself, wow, that baby really went on a spin. You would have thought that it would have rocked off the cradle, right? But I still got it back to my hand. So when I was a young lad, I wanted to go to Paris. But I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford to go to Paris. So the professionals came to me and they told me, you don't need to go to Paris. When I have the Eiffel Tower right here. That saved me a lot of money. We also have the brain twister. Now this one might put a little bit of spin into things. I'm gonna toss it down, get the yo-yo here, spin it. See that? Down. And you're gonna catch the yo-yo in the middle of the string. 2 to 3 times. It's a little of a brain bender. You like that one? Okay. You guys like what you have to say, what I have to show so far?
Yeah.
Now, prior to coming here, I do feel a little underdressed, not gonna lie. But that's okay. Because I bought my bow tie. Always. All right, now we also have the LA hop. The LA hop is a yo-yo trick where you catch the yo-yo on the string and you pop it up, catch it back on the string. Now that took me probably 5 years of my life to be able to learn that, but it's nice to be able to show it to you today. We also have the tape measure. I bet you haven't seen this one before.
No.
Just when you thought you've seen it all, something is dropped in your hand, just like that. See that? The string just wound itself. So let's do that again. We also have this one. So I'm a street performer as well. I used to actually perform on Powell Street in San Francisco for a couple of years, and it would make some good side money, anywhere from $70 to $80 an hour. But it takes a lot of guts to put yourself out there, because there's 2 types of people. There's people who can recognize art, and there's people who don't. And this is art. Somebody might love what they see, and somebody might not. I had 2 types of gentlemen. One walked by my bucket and said, "Let me be back. I need to go to the ATM." And he came back 10 minutes later with a $20 bill, and he dropped it in my bucket.
Wow.
That gentleman recognizes art. The second gentleman walked by my bucket and he threw a piece of trash and he walked away because he could not recognize art. Now, it took me a really long time to kind of overcome these type of people, because to me, this is my passion. This is a livelihood. This is what brings me happiness. And I always circle back to the yo-yo because the yo-yo has just brought me so much. I've been able to travel to Japan, Singapore, Norway. I've been able to be around the world because of a toy. People would tell me that's absurd. So I'm going to dive back into my demonstration and show you a couple of other tricks. But while performing on the streets of San Francisco, I remember going into some of the hotels. And what do the hotels have? The elevator. We start on the bottom floor, go all the way up, and then we go back down. Just like that. One of my favorite tricks because the children love it. Remember, we're here to play. We're here to have a good time. We need to remember that, right? Now, I got another trick for you. This one is called double or nothing, okay? I'm gonna toss it around. Double or nothing. Yo-yo still spinning. Drop it, spin out, and you get it back to your hand. Now, the difference between yo-yos, other than size or shape is the fact that some are a little bit easier to use for competition, okay? So today, you hear that? It's got a ball bearing in it, so it's spinning for a long amount of time. Now these yo-yos can spin for anywhere from probably about a minute to 2 minutes. Now the man of the flying trapeze is the foundation trick. We also have tricks like this. So this is a little bit of a little bit of a brain bender.
No knots.
That's all part of the plan. This is another famous trick that a lot of people don't know of, but it's called boingy boing. So the yo-yo is going to be bouncing back and forth between the strings. You may ask, how do you do that? Well, it's called 5 years of your life. It's back and forth.
The same 5 years or the next 5 years?
Oh, well, if you want to learn it, timer starts now. So we also, not only do we have boingy boing, we also have over, under, boingy boing. That's another 5 years of your life. Okay? You guys like that trick? It's one of my favorite ones. Thank you. We also have this one. This is the two-handed star. I love picture tricks. Because picture tricks remind me of being a child again. You know, when you're looking through those coloring books, you see things that, it's all shapes and sizes, and it's just like, I want to replicate that in a way. So I thought to myself, well, if I could do the Eiffel Tower and I can do the rocking the baby trick, I might be able to do this trick. This is called the triple tower. There's 3 towers within one. Okay? Now that takes 10 years. It's okay, I'll teach it to you later. Now, how do you get out of something like this? It seems like you got yourself stuck in a pickle here. Sometimes things just unravel into a triangle. Back to the hand. Now, what's better than rocking the baby through one cradle? It's rocking the baby through 2 cradles. Okay? Rock it through one, rock it through the other. That one's a fun one. We also have this one. So this one I learned from a friend of mine. Instead of walking the dog, because, you know, I started to learn walking the dog and do it quite a bit, I wanted to learn walking on my arm.
Oh, whoa!
Let's do that again. Walking on your arm.
Oh my gosh.
Cool. We also have, LI hops, hopping it back and forth.
Oh my.
And then growing up, I was really inspired by Michael Jackson because he was a dancer.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a dancer too. I was like, how can I incorporate my yo-yo with dance?
Oh my God.
Because if you think about it, it's like sometimes you just need to dance it off, you know? And yo-yo is the type of thing where you can really put a lot of choreography into and dance. There's different movements where you can kind of hit the beat with the yo-yo. I call this one tea party. Just dip in the tea bag. Just like that. You guys like that one? A lot of tea time over here? I love tea time. This one is called the gyroscopic flop. And you get the yo-yo in a bind like this, pop it off, and you just pull the strings and the yo-yo starts to bend. It's like magic. You guys like what you have to see so far?
Yes.
Hello, gentlemen in the back. Welcome. Don't worry, you didn't miss much yet. We're just starting the show. Just kind of getting the engine started.
Really?
All right. Now, after learning one yo-yo, I was like, I want to challenge myself, and how do I do 2 yo-yos? Don't worry, this didn't take 5 years. It did probably take me 6 months. But just through practice, practice really makes perfect. And you may be wondering, why are they white? Well, white's easy to see. Maybe not on this backdrop, but can't have it all, right?
Yeah.
So, tossing yo-yos. Right hand took a while. And left hand. And then what you want to do is you want to be able to blend that together. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh my
So something like that. So also have around the world. They call this alternate loop. So the yo-yo's going back and forth, and it's almost like a ricocheting. It's almost like you're firing a gun. That's kind of what it feels like. It feels like a punching bag almost. And it's just it's really fun because a lot of people they don't understand how does that happen? How are you able to have the yo-yo go again and again? And what it is it's almost like I have a piece of bubble gum at the end of my finger, and I'm trying to flick the bubble gum off. So I just think about those days where I have some bubble gum on my finger and I'm just trying to get it off my finger. Just like that. You guys like the one yo-yo first or the 2 yo-yos? Both take a lot of time, but with practice comes confidence to continue learning how to spin the yo-yos in your own way. I normally like to do this in corporate events where I'm doing the 2 yo-yos in my sleep. Now, the next style of yo-yoing, and there's quite a bit of styles, please understand that. There's 5 styles of yo-yoing. So what I've showed you is 2 styles of yo-yoing, the 2 yo-yos, that's 2A, and then the first one, 1A. Now this one is a different style, it's called freehand. So so the yo-yo is connected to a dice instead, and you can see there's no strings attached to my fingers at all. And you may be wondering, well, why do you want to connect it to a dice? Well, because sometimes in life, things can get really difficult. And the idea here is to learn to let go. You just need to learn to let go of things. And this is pretty much similar type of yo-yoing where you can kind of dance to it almost. Spin under the legs, behind the back. Then we have a butterfly. The dice going one way, the yo-yo going the other. Well, the thing is, these tricks aren't mine. They're borrowed. This time is borrowed. Everything is borrowed. So for me, I've just been fortunate to be able to travel to different continents and join different competitions and learn tricks from other people. They've been able to share little tricks and techniques with me for me to be able to teach others. Don't worry, I brought some yo-yos, so if you'd like a yo-yo, just approach me after, and I got a couple to hand out. Now the next trick I'm going to show you is, it's a little bit on the more dangerous side, but don't worry, I'm a trained professional. Now, this trick, it's called the nunchuck. So the yo-yo is locked in here. I'm going to toss it out, just like that. Okay? Let's do that one more time. Just like this. That's freehand for you. It's definitely a more advanced type of yo-yoing, especially the fact that some of you haven't seen it before. So I'm excited to have shown this to you. I really love freehand. Freehand, you can tie it to a dice. This is similar to a casino dice almost, with a hole drilled right through, and then tied to the yo-yo at the end of the string. Okay. How's everybody doing tonight?
Yay.
Great.
So I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, and I'm gonna ask you guys. Well, I'd like to, I guess, have some questions for myself. Does anybody in the room have any questions?
Are all yo-yos the same? I mean, the yo-yos, I mean, you showed us different kinds, but
Yeah. That's
is yo-yo mechanism the same?
a great question. In this day and age, we've upgraded from a fixed axle, so that's just one piece of wood, to now a bearing. So all the yo-yos that I brought today all have bearings in them. The bearings are going to be different sizes, and that's what changes how fast the yo-yo will come back to your hand as well. So to answer your question, yes, the mechanism is the same, but all yo-yos are different. You know, I can't tell you if I have a favorite. I have 300 of them. It's hard to choose. Yes.
Where did this playing with yo-yos come from? How
Historically.
old of an art is it?
It's a great
Just I'm
question.
curious about the history
Yeah,
of
yeah.
where yo-yos came from.
Okay, perfect. That's what, you know what? Pass the mic right back. All right, hello again. So yo-yos actually originated in two places, okay?
Where?
In two places. Greece, where they were made out of ancient terracotta and carved there. And then they were recreated, I think, in the 1960s in the Philippines. That's where I'm from, the Philippines. So it's kind of interesting how everything's brought back full circle for me. But to answer your question specifically, they were made then, and then they were brought from the Philippines to America. There was a young bellboy, his name was Pedro Flores. Pedro Flores performed during his breaks, similar to me. The Starbucks story is a little different. He would perform at the Santa Monica Hotel during his breaks, outside with the yo-yo. And he would gather a crowd of people. People would go around and be wondering what he was doing. And he would carve these yo-yos and he would sell them as well on his shows. Now, Donald Duncan, who was a businessman at the time, he saw Pedro and he was like, this is a unique opportunity. I would like to mass produce these. How can I make that happen? So he ended up purchasing the yo-yo idea from Pedro Flores, patenting it, and then selling it worldwide, which is why there was a boom at the time. There were a lot of trained yo-yo professionals that had imagine that, a full-time job doing yo-yos. Who would have thought that exists, right? It's only my part-time job, by the way. But at the time, they were able to do it, and they would have people fly from the Philippines to America and vice versa to spread the name of yo-yos. Duncan yo-yos, yeah. The #1 yo-yo, which to this day, if you go to Walgreens, I guarantee you're still going to see a Duncan. Because if it ain't a Duncan, it ain't a yo-yo, right? That's their tagline. And so, I'm not trying to sell you here. It was like, to me, it's really amazing to see the history of the yo-yo, the ups and downs, because I myself am part of a yo-yo boom. There was a yo-yo boom in the 1990s. So around 1999, I'll tell you a little bit about my story. When I started, I was about 13 years old. So I went to one of the shopping malls in the Philippines, because that's where I lived. And there were trained professionals visiting from America and Australia. And they were performing on stage. I didn't know they were there at the time. I just wanted a yo-yo. I found out that they were performing, and I saw them on stage perform, and I told myself as a young kid, I want to do that. And look, I'm still doing it. So, like, to me, it's really amazing to see everything full circle and kind of come back to me, just like the yo-yo, ups and downs of it all. It's a great question. Does anybody have any additional questions? Yes, please.
So I'm loud. I probably don't need that.
Right.
So I have kids, early teen, late teen era, and so you may need to remind me of the newer yo-yos they have with the 2 sticks.
Oh, that's the Diablo. So
Right.
that's like a Chinese type. That's a Chinese yo-yo where you have the sticks and it has the string. I would have brought one today if I knew there were going to be more people here. And you base it's kind of like a dance where you're slacking the stick, and then it will generate a spin for the Chinese yo-yo. And it's amazing for me to see people be able to juggle 5 of those at one time, and they just pop them in the air, and it's all cycling.
Wow.
And it's pretty much a circus act if you think about it. And yeah, that's a great observation. Yeah, that's
What are
it.
your thoughts on that versus the original?
Well, I personally have stuck to the original just because you can walk around with it in your pocket as opposed to having so much more, to have to carry around. But both have their own, different elements to them. What's nice about the one with the stick is you can pop it up, and it can go all the way up, like 50 feet in the air, and you can spin around and catch it again. There's so much you can do with it. Yo-yos as well. It's just a different tool. It's a different tool in itself.
I have a question.
Yeah, please ask away.
This sounds like a dangerous sport to me. Have you ever hurt yourself?
I've hit my nose in the past, but other than that, I've never hit anybody. And because I'm a trained professional, I've been doing this so long that since I think I was about 15 when I hit my nose. But other than that, no, nothing that jogs my memory. That's for sure.
So I also have a question, but more to the participants here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have Candice and Sheila? Do you have yo-yo comp players at Rossmore or Rhoda Goldman?
You mean like is there a yo-yo group or something?
Yeah, yo-yo club or other. I mean, it seems like something which you don't have to be a runner, or it's not an aerobic exercise if you do it. Not, Ernest, it's an aerobic exercise, but I think you can do it pretty low key, and I'm just wondering if this is still around.
We'll have to start it.
Well, Emma sitting back there is our activity director, and we have a number of residents sitting in the room, so I guess we'll have to take a poll. Maybe I'll post some of these videos
Yeah.
and see if we can get a yo-yo club going.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm more than welcome to visit again to teach. Just let me know.
Yay.
I was gonna say, have you taught seniors to play with yo-yos?
I've taught a couple here and there, but not in a group type of setting. Sometimes people will come up to me with curiosity into learning it, and yeah, they learn pretty quickly. So it's like for me, it's just great to be able to share this hobby of mine.
Well, it seems to me, and again, I have never mastered it, but it seems like this great, hand-eye coordination, but you have to, your mind is on all the time while you're doing it, no?
Yeah.
You can't really think about something else, no?
Well, there are times where I go on autopilot, and I'm just and when I'm playing, for example, I'll be thinking of maybe something I might need to do for work, or maybe about just people I love and care about, and it's really just one of those things. And I can do this blindfolded as well. It's because a lot of it's just muscle memory, you know.
It's like,
I have a question.
yeah.
Wow. Bring it to your job interview.
I always do, and I normally get hired. Yeah.
I have a question. So, when we talk about play, we talk about games with no rules and no goals and no purpose. So do you ever do free-form yo-yo play, and has that ever led to you inventing a new trick on your own?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. No, definitely. And I'm trying to think about them from time to time. But yes, without a doubt, like sometimes tricks just come to me. Like I'll use a perfect example. This is one I created maybe about 10 years ago, and I call it the three-point shot, because what it is I'm gonna back up and I'm gonna toss it, catch, and get it back to my hand. So what it is basically like I'm about to shoot the ball and catch it in the net. So sometimes playing basketball can transform into, well, how can I think of this trick and just make it happen.
That's
So
the innovation.
that's the innovation. And what I love about your question is the fact that there's no uniform here. I create my own uniform, like that's what I love about it too, and I can really entertain people and captivate them with what yo-yoing has to offer. This is another one, similar to rocking the baby, called baby in a cradle.
Ernest, I have a question.
Yes, please ask
Are
away.
there yo-yos in your dreams?
To answer your question, no. But I have a friend who's based out of Japan. He'll go to sleep, he'll dream of a trick and wake up and do the trick. So imagine doing this so much to the point that you can't tell the difference between whether you're awake or you're asleep because your mind is constantly creating. Like imagine that. Like you don't have to be awake to create a new trick because your mind is just on autopilot when you're sleeping. I think I've done it too, where I'll wake up and be like, I need it, and I'll just bring out all the yo-yos and just create something. And I think that's what's nice about the different colors and shapes and sizes is I may get tired of this one. There's another one that will keep me doing this. You know, and that's how they get the kids as well to continue keeping the companies alive is they put out one that's a little larger, one that spins a little longer, one that has a little bit of a different color, shape and size, you know, because it's like you want the latest one. That's just how they market it, right? Because the latest one is what the professional's using. And if I'm using it, the kid's gonna want to ask his mom and dad, hey, I want to have that too. Can you get me that?
So Ernest, do you have a couple of yo-yos for try?
Yeah, I do.
And by the way, what do yo-yos cost these days? Not the ones
So
like yours,
Okay.
your professional.
the professional ones can range from $50 to $500.
And what's the difference?
The difference is some of them are made of magnesium, titanium, sterling, sterling steel. Like it's almost like if Louis Vuitton were to create a yo-yo, that's not going to cost $100. It's probably going to cost.
No wooden yo-yos anymore.
They still make them. It's more of a premium nowadays. But I did bring a couple of yo-yos. So if anybody would like to leave with a yo-yo, let me know.
And we can try them out.
You can try them out as
So there are
well.
many people raise their hands who are yo-yo players.
Who would like a
You guys
yo-yo?
want to try
Who would
them?
like to leave with a yo-yo this evening? Do you have a preference in color? I have a couple different colors.
Blue, please.
Blue.